2 months ago, I was asked, hey, would you like to do your van? We saw it, would you like to bring it to SEMA? I'm like, no, I said no, thank you. And then literally about 12 days ago, it went from no to, oh crap, yes.
All right, so it's day 2 today, and we have a whiteboard up with our goals for this van. We're gonna make it a recovery vehicle.
Oh, let's just start tearing this thing down.
The sort of 9 days sounds dramatic, but it's actually really genuine.
The hardest thing is making sure this thing's not a rot bucket.
H.C. Martin is a Pottstown business. Pottstown is such a car town. So that's why I'm here, that's why the van is here.
All right, guys, we got 8 days left to SEMA. Today on the Eurovan, we're gonna start on rust and bodywork. We gotta assess the damage here. So, Ricky, I need you back on the yellow body over there. Jim, I need you. We're gonna put this up on the lift. Dave, I need you. Twink, back on the Renaissance, and you're back on the Mercedes. And guys, we're gonna get in the van now and we'll take it over to the lift. Wonderful day in the neighborhood. So I got my love for cars at an early age. My uncle owned an automotive shop. So from the age of 11, 12 years old, I was always tinkering in the garage with him, you know, just doing stupid stuff, oil change, brakes. And my dad had a love for cars too. And I would always detail his cars when I was little in hopes that someday I could drive them. And it just blossomed into that. So the inner solid, just the outer we got to worry about?
Looks that way. I think they should be able to weld to it. It's only surface rust.
Okay.
Rotted. Looks like it.
And inner lips rotted. All right, you want to come over and look at this side? Jimbo? Ooh. Ooh. What do we got over here?
This is going to be like from there to there at least. We cut all that out.
Okay.
You get into fresh metal. There's a seam here. We can do 2 pieces.
All right.
Jim, I'm from Spring City, Pennsylvania. Everybody calls me Jimmy.
Jimmy's an incredible fabricator, great body man, can weld anything, can fix anything. I watched him actually make a back door for a hearse out of a flat piece of sheet metal that completely blew my mind. Some of the older hearses, the parts are just extinct. Once they come out with a new model, whatever's left on the shelf, that's all you have. Unless you have parts cars or a boneyard, there's nothing. So when we have a rusty hearse, you know, most of the time we're fabbing stuff up. He's the go-to guy.
That's not good.
That's gonna, yeah. Until you're grinding and
Yeah. Probably end up putting a couple inches.
seeing what that is,
Yeah.
that could be all rust.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep, that's where the water sits there,
Yeah.
in between the 2 panels.
Rust-wise, there's some good rust that needs to be repaired on this. A good 10, 15 hours worth of work. Just to make panels and weld them in. It's not finish off and body work.
Jimmy's got over 30, 35 years experience in the body world. I've learned so much in the last 4 months from him.
Yeah, that's the shell and everything. That's gonna need some work. There's nothing to weld to. That's not good. That whole inner shell's rotted out around there. Nothing to weld to.
All right, let's check out the passenger side door. Wow, look at this here, guys.
That seam sealer's not doing its job now. Do we have to peel that back?
Yeah, we'll peel all this back, clean all that rust out, lap it back in, and then
Okay.
prime it, we'll put a sealer on it and put a bead on it. I'll be able to use it to work on it on the floor. This way we can have guys start sanding on it. And we need to mark all the dents, all the damage. And we just noticed looking at it too, all the indentation where the billboard is, that's all rusted inside of there. It's going to have to be orange wheeled out,
Okay.
all the way down to bare metal.
All right, well, let's lower it. We'll get it back over there and
We'll start marking dents with tape. You know, we check the roof out too. I don't think we ever seen that when what's down there. And then we'll start cutting rust and I'll start making panels. Going good, and we found a little more rust than we thought we were going to have. So anticipated. When you start ripping into something, you don't know until you tear it apart. I don't know if this was repaired, but the paint that's on it's starting to pop.
Okay.
So we might have to sand that pretty far down and get rid of them.
Okay, I see the cracks.
Yeah.
Right
See,
here.
I think there might have been either a dent or
Previous
they had a
work.
mirror here, and they filled the holes.
Just mark in the dents before we sand it, because that's hard to see after it's sanded.
I don't know if that's rust under there or not.
Don't know until we hit it with some with an orange pad or something, with a wheel.
You got cracks all along this trim here.
Yeah.
Yep, we got some damage here. Make sure we find it again once we sand it and take care of that. It's easier to do it when it's semi-shiny than when you sand and make the paint dull. Then you can't find it.
Looks like it may have been blown in. We haven't seen the roof yet either.
Doors always get beat up in the parking lots.
Actually, the roof looks good, guys. A lot of dirt over it, but it doesn't look bad at all. I have to re-caulk the seams. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty solid. You know, some of the caulk's coming off. Other than that, it's just shot. It's almost white from being bleached. It looks good.
Okay.
One less thing to worry about.
Yeah, so let's get started. You start cutting out the panels, and we'll get Ricky to start scuffing, seeing how bad this rust is underneath these sides.
I'm prepping the passenger side, fixing all the dents, some minor rust. The door has previous damage from before, so the filler was cracking and coming out. So I ground all that out and fixed it the correct way. And
Ricky, Chef Boyard Rick. Rick, man, he's a kindred spirit, man. He's my mechanic sidekick because he has a little experience in the mechanic world. He's just great, man. He's a problem solver. He's a great fabricator. He's just all around great guy too.
How are we looking on the time frame for the van?
It's going good, a little slower than expected. I still think we'll be in paint by the end of the day today.
Okay.
Jim's making the panels on the underneath, and Flip's doing the back door, filling in some dents back there.
Okay.
What's concerning me is Ricky's taking a little bit long on that passenger front door.
Yeah, see, there's a lot of body work on the door.
There was some dents, some under rust, but I think we need to get him going a little bit.
What's supposed to happen is all the body work done, all the prep work done, maybe a little bit of primering in the morning, a little sanding, and then taping for everything to go into the booth. They're a little bit behind right now. I'm a little surprised that they're running a little behind. I wasn't expecting that much on the doors and sides. I didn't see, I mean, obviously with the paint faded and stuff like that, didn't want to get too involved. This isn't, something we're going to go for a Riddler award on.
Yeah.
This is going to be an off-road vehicle. So,
Definitely on a full rest.
yeah, I'll go talk to him and see what I can speed him up a little bit. Ricky is another interesting individual. He has his support duck at home and lives on a makeshift farm that he builds everything and makes stuff. We call him Chef Ricky. He usually brings any kind of food in. It smells like a restaurant in the shop when he's here. There's always something cooking, whether it's in the air fryer or in the toaster oven, or he has a crock pot going for lunch for the guys. He's another one that, he can come in. He has a mind that's different set from everybody else. He sees things differently. He's another one that can fabricate stuff up, and he's like a repurposer. He's a great repurposer. He'll find a use for something that we would have thrown in the trash, and he's like, wait, we could use this for this, and sure enough, he's right.
I'm running into a lot more paint blistering than I was expecting. It's not terrible, but it is a lot more work than we initially anticipated for. How much more do you have to do on the other side?
That rocker.
Is it a couple patches or just one?
It's 2 patches.
Well, good news is
decent.
it's just going to be like those 2 that you just did, right? The one you're on and the one you just
Right,
did.
yeah. But
And
they're
that
just
one
gonna
you
be
knocked
all
out
longer.
in what, an hour?
But it's got the seam. So I gotta do a front seam and I gotta do a back seam on the other side.
All right.
But
When you start DAing it, you'll start noticing all the cracks. All the cracks will come out. Like once they paint it, you can paint over a crack and it'll hide it. But once you start sanding it, that crack can appear. And well, you gotta grind all that crack material out or it's gonna reappear itself.
Well, I think they're behind because it looks like they're in cruise control a little bit. I don't know if they had too big of a lunch or too big of a breakfast, but deadline's a deadline, you know, and I made a promise, and unfortunately, they have to fulfill the promise. I'm still confident we'll have it in the booth tomorrow and still have it painted. Just wasn't expecting the bottom of the door skin to be hanging off and a little bit more rust on the rocker panel. I gotta find a way to light some fire under him. You know, he's holding you guys down. Tomorrow, if I had to go all hands on deck, we'll go all hands on deck. It's as simple as that.
You know what, John? I have an idea for you. What if do you think we could get away with bed lining down here?
That is not a problem.
Down at the bottom?
We can do that.
If we can do a line straight across right here, that will save us half the time right there. What
if we come off that line straight across, and come straight across inside, and then put the panel on, I'm fine with that.
That would look good.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be okay with that too.
It's all bubbly down here
yeah,
too.
no, that's what I put
so that
tape on it,
means
yeah. See, this was repaired. You can see that.
since it's bubbly, I should probably take all this
All the top paint off, get down to the bottom paint.
whoever repaired it before didn't do the final stage of blocking it so that it was flat and true and it was wavy. So once I started blocking it, more holes or low spots appeared to it because now you're making it flat. So they must have maybe just scuffed over it with a DA, and that's where you can get like a wavy effect to it. And you won't know the trueness until you block it, and that will get you to the flattest panel.
Hey Jim, got a second? I need to talk to you. So, how we looking?
Well, this isn't good. The bottom of this door shell is shot.
Oh yeah.
There's not much to weld to at all.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to cut it out at least to there,
Okay.
in order to put a piece in order for the bottom of the door skin to adhere to.
Okay. So, of course, you know, nothing that was seen from the get-go.
It's
so
all
now here we are.
unforeseen. As soon as you start tearing it apart, all the can of worms come out,
Sure.
you know?
Sure.
So,
Hey guys, I need everybody for a second. Ricky, Flip, I need you we gotta start reevaluating some stuff here because we're on a time crunch. Obviously, there is a little bit more body work than I expected. We gotta do whatever we can to step this up. We still need to be on pace to paint this thing tomorrow at some point. So I can't have parts coming in on Thursday and we don't have this thing ready. So whatever we can do to expedite wrapping up the bodywork. I know Jimmy, we're probably gonna run into tomorrow with. That's fine. We still have time to get the bodywork done and get it painted. That's not gonna stop us. It's just gonna have me change the way we're gonna put the bed liner on. Instead of putting the bed liner on first, we're gonna put the bed liner on second. So that allows us time to do that. Get it out of the booth while the bed liner is being applied. We can start assembling it back together, even though it's gonna be really fresh paint. But we'll just go from there. So anything you guys could do to step it up and you know, get this thing ready as far as we can today, so we don't have as much, you know, but basically be focusing on the door while the rest of this thing is going to be getting prepped for paint tomorrow. So, you know, have at it, guys.
Toughest thing today was watching Jimmy lay on the ground doing that metal work with the weld drops in his face because we couldn't have it up on the air on a lift where we would normally do it.
right now I'm finishing up the rocker panel on the driver's side. Going to be working on the bottom of the lower door on the driver's side door, putting new metal on the bottom of that, finishing the bottom of the shell in order to put the door panel and roll it back over.
So I've been working on the driver's side fender, door, and I've been kind of working around Jimmy so I'm not affecting his work because I don't want to get in the way of him getting that metal work done. That's something we really got to get done.
Going good. Just a little rough. It looks like the paint's peeling off the primer, didn't adhere to it right. Numerous things could cause that to happen. But if we get all them layers off and down in this primer, then we can work from there out and not have a problem with it ever lifting like that again.
The anxiety is building a little bit, being that I haven't seen one single part yet. So that has me a little nervous. I'm not concerned about us installing them. It's more so, once the hand's on and I have to see what we have to do physically, then I'll relax a little bit, you know, knowing that it's a few bolts, a few drill holes here, a few of this, a few of that, a couple of lighting, a little bit of wiring, you know, and out the door she goes. But I'm a little bit concerned too about the mechanical that he brought up last minute, possible timing chain or timing belt, whatever that motor has in it. The oil change, not a big deal. You know, tires, we already had scheduled to change the rims and tires, so I'm not concerned about that stuff. But yeah, definitely not having any parts by now. A little bit, you know, tightening up a little bit.
Looks like we got all the rust and the bodywork done today. Looks like tomorrow we just have prep and paint. We have 7 days left to SEMA. All right, guys, tomorrow we're gonna do prep. We're gonna wipe down everything, get it ready for the booth first thing in the morning. And we'll get Dave and Twink in there, spray the thing tomorrow, and we'll be ready to reassemble. All right, great job, guys.
Like this show? Want more? Then head to WatchPTTV.com, the new 100% free PowerTube TV streaming network. Home of the best classic and new motorsports racing and build shows on the web.